Rights of the autocrat cannot be appeased. They must be opposed. Ukraine will never be a victory for Russia. Never.
So that's the big speech, the big line. President Biden striking that defiant tone during that speech in Warsaw yesterday, right around this time, in fact, rallying the West to stand fast against Putin and the assault on Ukraine. We're entering year number 2 for that war at the end of this week. Senator Roger Wicker out of Mississippi, the top Republican, Senate Armed Services Committee. Sir, thank you for your time. We got a lot to get to in the next couple of minutes. So here we go. Wall Street Journal, China, Russia, and the U.S. red line on Ukraine. Here's the key paragraph. President Biden's visit to Kyiv on Monday was an important symbolic display of American support for Ukraine and credit to him for traveling into a war zone. But the bigger Ukraine news in recent days may be the public alarms coming from U.S. officials that China could soon provide Russia with military aid. If that's the headline that comes away from this, the great powers of this world have now taken sides. What do you think, Senator?
Well, Bill, thanks for having me on. And I absolutely agree with that paragraph from the Wall Street Journal and frankly, from their entire editorial today. I think the best way to keep China at bay is for Ukraine and our NATO allies who are helping them to actually win this. And so while I appreciate what the president said yesterday and again today, with the other European leaders, I wish he would match that with action and supply more of what we know we're going to have to give them to win immediately, rather than parcel it out. And we need to avoid the foot dragging that we've had for the last year. The rhetoric is great. Diplomacy stops at the water's edge, and we ought to all applaud the president for supporting Ukraine and the bravery of Zelensky, but he needs to match that with action.
Something seems to have changed in the mind of President Xi of China, and I don't exactly know what it is. I'd put this question to you. He had been keeping Putin at an arm's length distance for quite a while. I remember Putin said he thought that they were best friends, and it turned out actually China wasn't so enamored and wasn't going to fully support, and that they were actually bristling and aghast at the attacks on civilians. And then now they're there today, his foreign minister, the Chinese foreign minister, in Russia talking to Putin, and they're apparently working out some sort of summit between Putin and Xi. What has changed in the Chinese president's mind to make him think that this is a good move now?
I don't know that anything has changed. Here's what we need to remember. Both Putin and Xi are dictators, and they're expansionists. And the desire of President Xi to take over Taiwan and other areas in the Western Pacific has not changed. I think the best way to stop him is for Putin to lose his war of aggression in Ukraine, and that is absolutely possible this year if we give them, and the West joins in with giving them the weaponry and the missiles and the air power that they need. So to me, he's still wanting to play footsie with Putin, but if Putin loses, Xi is much less likely to make an aggressive mistake in the Western Pacific.
Wow. Can I ask you another question about what the president's message was? He talked yesterday about a nuclear power plant being built on behalf of Westinghouse, an American company out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, to be built in Poland. Did that come as a surprise to you? And if so, where's that talk in this country?
It's something that we had not been briefed on. I had not heard anything about that. And of course, we certainly realize that one of Putin's tactics is, and one of his strategies is to deprive the Ukrainian people of power and light and heat during the remainder of this very cold winter. So we ought to be helping them to stay alive and to stay warm. Of course, a better way to do it would have been American liquefied natural gas, which we have plenty of and which we're able to give them. But the main thing is that they need the weapons to fight as aggressively as they're willing to fight without any American troops. And frankly, Bill, there's been a 3-week offensive on the part of the Russians, and they have gained very few meters and taken huge losses. Their casualties are almost 100% fatalities. And Russia's offensive this late winter has failed. Ukraine is in a position now, we give them what they need to win, and I think that'll do a lot to give us some support in Congress and American public opinion that indeed our money is well spent and being matched by the NATO allies.
That is being questioned. Roger Wicker, down there in Mississippi.
Senator.
Thank you.
It is trench warfare in southeast Ukraine, as you well point out. Thank you, Senator, for your time.
Thank you.